Hey, what's up guys, OSG back with a bit of a blast from the past as I'm doing a comparison video. Yeah, it's been a long time and I can't believe I didn't do this one before, as it's probably the most important game in my life, because Platoon was the first game I ever loaded up on Christmas morning. Picture this, it's 1987, the air is dense with excitement. I've not slept all night thinking about what I'm gonna get. I creep downstairs at around 4 AM, turn on the lights, and this huge box is lying there with my name on it. I open it and it's this, the C64C Hollywood pack. I quickly unpack it and open up the Hollywood Games box. What should I play? Top Gun? Miami Vice? Escape to Victory? Rambo? Ooh, Rambo. Maybe, but then I made the best choice of my life and picked the Platoon tape up from the box, inserted in the dataset, and after a minute or so was met with a SID loading tune that actually blew me away. Before this, I'd only had a VIC-20 and seen my mate's Spectrum, which loading was just squeals and bleeps. Anyway, the game loads up and the intro is shown with probably the most haunting music ever to grace a SID. I'm hooked instantly, and even though the game was hard as nails, especially for an 11-year-old, it became my favourite C64 game of all time. Years later, in fact about 3 years ago, I bought the same Hollywood pack, and the nostalgia hit when it arrived and I was opening it was like nothing I've experienced before. My wife was telling me to get a life, but what does she know, because she wasn't there through the magical early years of the computers. Anyway, enough nostalgia from me. This game was actually released on 8 systems at the time, ranging from bad to brilliant, and today we will see them all. I've done the usual editing so the game flows all the way through as if it's been played, so sit back, relax and watch a true piece of gaming history in all its glory. In last place, I normally say 8th place or whatever for the first game, but this version is so bad it doesn't deserve anything other than last, is the MS-DOS. I actually watched videos on this while researching and thought this maybe wasn't so bad once you get past the infernal buzzing noise, the lack of in-game music and horrendous sound effects. But then I played it and I have to say it's virtually unplayable. I mean, anyone who ever played the Amiga version and thought that was shit needs to go and load this steaming pile of manure up, and then the Amiga version seems somewhat playable. It seems like death is every second on this. You move, you die. You don't move, you die. Anyway, it's last and it's rubbish. Next up, in 7th place, we have the Apple II version. Now this one has a look of an Atari 2600 game, if you ask me. And yes, it's really basic. And no, I don't think the jungle maps from the other versions will work, as I played it for ages and never found my way to the village yet. But after the shit show that we just seen from the MS-DOS version, this one couldn't be lower than that, because beneath its simplicity, there is actually some decent gameplay, even if you can't actually find your way to the next level. Would I play this again? No. Would I play this again if the only choice was this or the DOS version? Hell yeah, every time. Sixth place is taken by the Amiga version. So first of all, I have to point out that the music on this version is class, but music can't save the game as the rest of the execution is terrible. It's sad really, because this should have been a standout title on the Amiga. It was very capable of doing this game justice and could have been one of the best versions if it was done right. Reason it's so bad is, well, as you can see, it's virtually impossible not to die. Bullets hitting you from what seems off the screen, traps behind bushes, game mechanics that are truly horrible, and that's just the first level, which not many people have got off. It does slightly improve after that in the tunnels, but the controls are still crap, and the foxhole level, while having great music, is an assault on the ears, as it's music or sound effects and it keeps popping between the two, and that is awful. Amstrad takes 5th position. Now this will ruffle some feathers in the Amstrad community as it's lower than the other 8-bits, but that's not down to my hatred for the Amstrad. I always do these videos impartially, and after playing them all extensively over the last 3 weeks, this one just isn't as good as the next 4. Saying that, it's world apart from the Amiga version, as this one is at least playable, even if it is still mega hard. The colour saturation is a bit too much for my eyes though. Ironic that, a C64 fanboy complaining about colours, but look at it, it's very garish. The music is good on the AY, and as with most versions, improves after the first level slightly, although I'm not really a fan of the last level on this version. In 4th place we have the Spectrum version, 128K mind. I'll add that bit in because the 48K version with the bleeper is horrible on the ears, but this one has music, and although it's the same sound chip as the Amstrad, I think this version does it that little bit better. Anyway, the Speccy version is very playable, really fast and responsive, and after you get your head around that colour clash, but let's face it, everyone who had a Spectrum would have been used to that colour clash by now, it's a really good game. It's actually the first game on this list that I haven't found to be a chore to play, and one I would definitely be loading up again and play it all the way through. Next up in 3rd is a real surprise, and that's the Atari ST. Yes, the ST has not only beat the Amiga on this game, but in fact it's blown it out of the water and delivered a totally playable, great sounding game. Is it better sounding than the Amiga version? Well, that's a question of preference, but for me I'd say yeah. The game, as a lot of you watching will be thinking, is almost identical to the Amiga version, but here's the thing. The controls are much tighter, there's less of the infuriating deaths from nowhere happening. Don't get me wrong, they still happen, but nowhere near as much as the Amiga version, making this a much more enjoyable experience overall. I mean, this is not even the trainer version, and I got to the village. I had the trainer on the Amiga and got nowhere. Second place is taken by the NES version, and this one is quite a find for me, as I never realised it was on the NES. The game has defo been NES-fied, if that's even a word, but you know what I mean, and that's not a bad thing. It's slower than most of the other versions, which is also not a bad thing. One real problem with Platoon on all the versions was it was just too damn hard and relentless, but this version seems much more like a leisurely stroll through the jungles of Vietnam, without the feeling you were going to die around every corner. Saying that, ultimately that detracts from what the game was about, but makes this much more playable. Look at this like a Platoon for casual gamers. If you think your version of Platoon is too hard, check this one out. The soundtrack is great on here too. And now, in first place, we have the Commodore 64 version. This is the one that started all for me. It was always going to be number one in my head, but as I've said, I'm always impartial when I'm doing these comparisons. So luckily enough for me, it was by far the best version of the game. It's rock hard, but not rock hard enough to be annoying like some of the other versions, and the soundtrack on the SID proper carries this game. I can remember getting out of the jungle for the first time and into the tunnels. It was like nothing I'd seen before, proper first person effect on an 8-bit, and it just worked. The furthest I ever got as a kid was the foxhole, but in the past years I have completed this many times, and every time it's extremely satisfying, like completing a good game should be, like you've been on a journey and made it home in one piece. Okay, that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments below if you have any fond memories of this game, or if like quite a few people you could never figure out what the hell to do on it. Also, if you have any suggestions for good comparisons that I haven't done yet, let me know in the comments below and I'll look into doing them. Please remember to drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel for more great retro content. Oh, and if you would like to become a Patreon like my platoon of soldiers going up the screen right now, get on over to my Patreon channel where you can pledge for as little as $1. That will get you perks like your name in the end credits, video requests, giveaways and more in the future. Till next time, this is OSG bugging out.